Hey, what's going on? It's Sean, and I'm here with another Tesla video. And in this one, I want to talk about how you can order the perfect Tesla Model S. Now, this, of course, is very subjective because each person has their own preferences. But what I do want to do in this video is go through some of the key features of the Model S and talk about the pros and the cons of both. So, let's get started. All right, so the first place I want to start off at is the battery size. Now, as of this recording, which is June 3rd, 2017, there are 4 options for battery sizes. Next week, the 90 kilowatt hour battery does go away. So all that's left, as far as we know at this moment, will be the 75 and both 100 options, the performance and non-performance. So here's what I'll say about the battery. This really has very much to do with how much driving you do in a single day. I wouldn't recommend buying on the hopes of a long distance trip, but I would rather think about this from your daily driving. If you're driving, less than 50 miles in a single day, you probably don't need a bigger battery size, to be quite honest. 259 miles is more than enough for the majority of people. But for those that feel like they need the maximum amount, the 100 is a really great option. The 100D is a really great option. So really, this has a lot to do with how much driving you do in a day. For myself, I've got a 60 kilowatt hour. It's the single motor, so it's not the dual, and I'm doing about 210, 220 miles on a single battery charge, and I find myself often needing to charge up at least once a day at a supercharger, so I'm probably driving 250 miles in a day. So for me, the next time around, there's a good chance that I'll probably go with the 100D because of that. I'm driving about 250 miles a day. I want to add one more thing about the battery size. You can see here that at the 75 kilowatt hour, you've got a couple of options. You've got the single motor and the dual motor, or the all-wheel drive. But beyond that, it's standard for it to come with dual motor for those options. I've gone actually back and forth about this one as well. My current car is a single motor, and I found that when I put winter tires on it, if you're in a snowy area, winter tires on a single motor actually works incredibly well and almost as good as the SubZero that I used to have. There's a few areas that it doesn't work so well in the wintertime, even with the winter tires. When you're turning corners, there's not as much control, and if you do hit ice, it's likely that you'll fishtail. The other area that I think dual motor would probably be beneficial for me if I had it is going uphill at slow speeds. I think that actually going uphill, but also putting your car in reverse and going uphill, both, I think the dual motor would really be beneficial. But outside of that, if you're in an area that does get snow and it's relatively flat, and you understand that you probably don't want to take corners too fast, the single motor is probably going to be fine. Although, if you do want peace of mind, the dual motor is just going to be that much better. The Tesla just does a phenomenal job at being incredibly responsive when it detects slipping, or it's just really, really good, and it has great torque as well. So if you are going uphill, it has, and you do have the winter tires, it's been fantastic. So, all right. So the next thing I want to talk about that I think is important is the enhanced autopilot and the full self-driving capabilities. Now, the hardware comes installed in these standard. So whether you get them or not, you're going to have the hardware in them and will be software upgradable. At this very moment, Tesla is not at the point where it's got full self-driving capability. So it might be a good idea for you to not get it and then upgrade later. Now, you do pay a little bit more after delivery, but let's see if we can figure this out here. Yeah, so it's $5,000 if you do at build, and then after build is $6,000 for enhanced autopilot, and then self-driving is $3,000 at build and $4,000 after. I actually, if I was ordering one today, I might lean towards waiting and then paying later on. And they might do what they did with the the batteries, where you bought the smaller battery, but really it was a larger one, and you could pay to have it software upgraded. My guess is they'll do something like this as well, and maybe even cut the price on it down the ways. SubZero weather package. This is one that in the beginning I went back and forth on. Now I'm pretty resolute about the SubZero weather package. I live in Denver, Colorado, and during the winter it does get cold, and my current car does not have the SubZero weather package, which means that the wipers, the wiper blade defrosters, because I don't have those, I tend to find if I'm driving for a while, there starts to be ice that kicks up on the on the wiper blades. So if it were just the seated heats, which I have, I probably wouldn't get the SubZero package. But because I'm in cold weather, I really do recommend the defrosters for the wiper blades. Also, the washer nozzle heaters was also something that I wished I had over the winter, because that too would sort of ice up, and if it was heated, I wouldn't have that problem. So I do, if you're in cold weather and you do get cold winters below freezing, I would recommend SubZero weather package. Otherwise, I would skip it for sure. Premium sound. I think the standard sound system in the Model S is actually pretty good. But if you're an audiophile and you really love high quality sound, then that's something that you consider. Otherwise, I mean, for me, I can turn up the music and I feel like the quality of sound is quite nice. So this one really is up to you. If you're not a big music person and you don't care about high quality music, the standard one is going to be just fine. The next one I want to talk about is the rear facing seats. If you've watched my videos, you know that you know my opinion on the rear facing seats. This is one that I would skip. I would not put, even if I had one that did have them, installed, I would not put my kids in the rear facing seats. And the reason why is because Tesla has reinforced that bumper and made it extra safe. But for many vehicles like SUVs, if you get rear-ended by an SUV, it's not going to be bumper to bumper contact, and your children's feet in that well right here is exactly where it gets pushed in. If an SUV rear ends you, especially at a high speed, I've seen some photos of SUVs and semi-trucks, and the entire hatchback has been pushed completely in. So even though Tesla has done quite a bit of engineering to add an extra level of safety to the bumper area, none of the hatchback is reinforced, just that bumper. So, this is my personal opinion. Of course, decisions you make about the safety of your children are very much personal, and you have to do that on your own. But based on what I see, I probably would not recommend this. Now, I almost forgot about this one because before I was actually on the 75, which if you go here, you're not going to find the air suspension. So it's just standard coil if you go 75 route. But I do want to talk about the air suspension because this is another one that I wish I had gotten on my car. The reason why is because there's been instances where I've gone up a driveway or gone out of a driveway that's been inclined, and it's bottomed out, or I've heard, maybe some scraping. And in this one, I think is super helpful, especially if you're in an area where you've got snow it's nice to get some extra ground clearance when you're driving through that snow. So this is one that I would definitely recommend. Most Model S's now are coming standard, and as I mentioned earlier, the only ones that don't come standard now are the very base level, the 75 kilowatt hour versions of the Model S. But I would strongly, if I were you, give this one some consideration, because the car sits pretty low if you're just on standard coil, and it's nice to be able to adjust the height of the car, whether it's getting on the highway and making sure that there's as much or as little drag on the car, or whether it's in a different situation where you need the ground clearance and need to raise that car up. Also consider the fact that with air suspension, you can lower the car to either make it easier to get out of the car, or maybe if you're a taller person, the air suspension is nice to kind of raise so that you're not having to lift yourself up out of the car that naturally sits a bit low. Okay, so let's go to wheels and roof, because I think this is another one that's an interesting decision here. So now you've got, by standard and default, the all-glass roof. Now that's different from the sunroof, in that if you get the sunroof, you can actually open up the top. And I want to talk a little bit about this one. So I do have a few friends who have the all-glass roof, and it looks phenomenal, especially if you're sitting in the back seat. You can just see so much, and there's not that bar across to obstruct the view like there is in the sunroof version of this. So if you love to have your windows down, but you hate the smell of exhaust, I would totally get the sunroof. What I found myself doing, whenever I roll down my windows, the front windows, I find that the exhaust in internal combustion engine cars is quite smelly. But I do love the feeling of fresh air, and I love to be able to blast some music with the windows open. So I found that when I open up the sunroof but keep the windows closed, I don't get that exhaust smell as much. And so it's a nice happy medium. The glass roof is nice for views, especially if you're in an area where you've got mountain views, or if there's things as you're looking up, you've got a scenic view. There's not that much of a difference between the price. You've got a $2,000 difference, and on a $70, $80, $90, $100,000 car, $2,000 is not much. So those are my 2 cents on whether to get the glass roof or the sunroof. Now let's talk about the wheels, because this is one that actually I'm in the process of making a decision on. And again, if you've seen any of my videos, you've seen my my review of 19-inch versus 21-inch. And at the time, I say at the end of the video that if I were to do it again, I'd do the 21-inch wheels. I'm starting to rethink that, actually, because there's a few challenges with the 21-inch wheels. Yes, they look amazing. It's got that lower profile, but if you're in an area where you have a lot of potholes, like I am here in Denver, it's incredibly susceptible to bending of the wheels. In fact, I've had my wheels fixed twice. I spent $600 over those 2 times to fix my wheels and straighten them. Additionally, the range on the 21-inch wheels is a bit less than the 19s. So there's a very good chance that this coming week I'm actually going to switch to the 19-inch wheels. It's going to give me that better range, make me less susceptible to bending the wheels when going over bumps. And I just, I've had to be very, very careful when driving, and be very mindful of not to drive over potholes. And I think the 19-inch wheels are really going to give me a little bit extra peace of mind. If you're in an area that doesn't rain and there's not very much snow, you probably have very good highways and very good roads, and the 21-inch wheels will probably be fine. The other thing that I would also add to whether you're going to choose 19-inch or 21-inch wheels is the wheels on the 21-inch are a bit more, and they also wear a little bit faster than the 19s. So I would definitely take those things into consideration when you're trying to decide what's most important to you. Do you want aesthetically for it to look great, or do you want practicality? And if you want practicality, the 19 is the way to go. But for aesthetics, and I guess really the only other reason why someone would want to choose the 21s outside of aesthetics would be handling. And I'm not the race car I'm not the race car type, even though I do like when I'm driving in the mountains and the handling that my car does have on the 21s. All right, let's go to interior. I feel like this one is very much a personal preference as well. I kind of lean more towards the leather seats, but I know there's a lot of people and a few of my friends who own Teslas who have selected the vegan all-white seats, the ultra-white seats. The ultra-white seats do not feel like real leather. Apparently they're easier to keep clean, but I've seen videos on YouTube where blue jean dye actually rubs off, and I have seen also in a separate video with the perforated white seats where the perforation is actually coming apart. So I did actually meet a guy recently that chose the multi-pattern black, and this I think is an interesting one. Of course, it comes standard and default, so if you're pinching pennies and you're trying to keep the cost low on your Tesla, this might be a better way to go. And they've combined a lot of the packages here, so you see some of the interior decor for this one. You've got a black, piano black, but you can also have that upgraded so that this is carbon fiber and it's only $250. Next time around, I think I might choose this one because I think I like that one. But we'll see when it comes to ordering the next one. That does it for this video. I want to say thank you for tuning in. It means a lot to me. And if you found value in this, hit the subscribe button. You can click right up here, and it will allow you to subscribe and get notifications to other Tesla videos that I do. And if there's something that I forgot to cover or that you wanted to know about that I didn't cover, feel free and put that in the comments below. Thanks so much, and see you in the next video.